Mark Patel, owner of Luna Cafe and Roastery, a shop located in De Pere, Wisconsin. Luna is a shop serving various drinks and food. It serves its own roasted bulk coffees, tea, and retail, as well as a coffee bean wholesaler to restaurants, stores, and cafes. Mark started Luna 12 years ago, so just a little backup from who we're talking to today. Let's start with the first question. What previous experience gave you the confidence to venture out on your own?
Well, after graduating from university, I worked for Alterra, which is a local company in Milwaukee. They were at the beginning of their business when I started with them. They were in the early 90s, for them for 5 years, and primarily roasting coffee, so I got a lot of experience in the business. And as they grew bigger, I kind of was interested in doing something on a smaller scale in the same industry, so I felt like I had a good amount of experience.
Just to follow up to that, how has that experience helped you in your own business?
I think it was a good ground, base for me to start in the coffee business, and without that, I think having to learn while starting my own business would have been pretty hard. So at least I had that knowledge to move, because there's so much, when you start the business, there's so much more you have to be taking care of than just the basics. So
cleaning the bathrooms.
yes, it gave me a good, base to start the business.
What are some of the challenges that you faced before you even opened the doors to Luna?
Well, we were starting from scratch, so there were quite a few. Finding a location that we thought was going to be suitable, and then once we did, there was a lot of renovation, sourcing equipment, really establishing everything in this startup business. So I would just say, really, no specific thing.
Just finding like suppliers and wholesalers and things like that.
Just taking care of everything. Whereas when you have a job working for a company, you have a few set tasks. But when you start your own business, everything is your responsibility.
So while you were trying to start, were there any obstacles that were in your way, like as far as government regulation or licensing?
Not so much that, but we did have problems actually getting open because of so much renovation and coordinating different contractors and actually getting open. It was probably a few months after we hoped to, which is always hard as far as finances go, because you have a set date to open, and then if you push past that, you're under a little more pressure once you get started.
But licensing and stuff, you had to, I guess, read up on all of that, like what Wisconsin.
Yeah, luckily we were doing it in a smaller town, so all the people in the city were a little more accessible than they probably would be if you were in a larger city.
That was a great idea. So then, they say most disadvantages for small businesses are just being able to break the barrier of economies of scale, being able to push through that. How do you compete with companies like Starbucks and Alterra's?
Well, at the beginning it was easier because being in a smaller town, there weren't as many large competitors at that time. So actually, De Pere is quite close. Its borders on Green Bay, which is a town of about 100,000, but there still weren't, those larger companies weren't there yet. So we were able to get a foothold in the area before they came, so that was certainly an advantage.
So then you pretty much built up the general market there, huh?
A little bit, and we established our clientele. We built up a little wholesale business, so then when Starbucks did come in, we felt pretty confident about what we had.
So the general market was pretty open. What was were there a lot of cafes in your local market?
There were a few, but they were all little locally owned places that I felt I could compete with pretty well, because I had a lot of knowledge about, and we were roasting our own coffees, so I felt pretty confident about the quality of our product going in.
Yeah. Who supplied those other cafes with bulk coffee?
Probably companies from Milwaukee were supplying, or they just went with large institutional food service type companies.
And did you go into direct competition with them then, or did you kind of just ease your way in, or?
Probably eased our way in. We weren't too aggressive. We just wanted to get a few really good accounts, high profile, quality accounts that would maybe drive people to our retail location.
How do you, or in what ways do you differentiate yourself from the competition then? Both
Well,
like cafes and Flow Coffee, I guess, or other roasters.
Well, we really stress the local side of our business. We roast everything there. We're a locally owned company, and we keep it really small, kind of similar to a microbrewery in the beer industry. The quality, I mean, I strongly believe that the quality is strongest at a smaller micro company like that really stresses the quality of the product over, size and trying to get bigger.
So, how was the transition from you from working at Alterra to becoming your own boss?
Oh, that was probably, being the boss was probably the hardest thing for me, because I really like the business and being in the coffee business and roasting, and I didn't really have a lot of experience managing people and being in charge, and that certainly was probably the biggest challenge of opening a business, is how to delegate responsibility and how to find the people that are going to best fit the things that you need to get done to, help build your business and help take the load off of you so you can concentrate on what you have to.
Right. Just to piggyback off of that, how do you differentiate the different levels of what you need to delegate? Like, how do you know who to give what to, and since you can't do it all, right?
Yeah, well, at the beginning you try to, and that's pretty hard. So then, I think the main thing is trying to find good people, and then you find out what their strengths are and how they can best fit into the company, and kind of take the load off of people, the bosses or whatever, and help me concentrate on what I have to, and kind of let them also do something that really fits well with them, so that they can also excel.
Do you have managers there, or do you?
Now we do. We've been doing it a number of years, so we have people that manage the different aspects of the cafe and the kitchen and that kind of thing.
Changing the subject and kind of going on to the latest, or the past few years, how has the current economy turns, how has the different turns affected your business?
Well, I think we're lucky that we're in a business that, to a certain extent, is not immune to what's going on in the economy, but less so than, say, a higher-end restaurant. Most of our customers are spending $5 or less on a coffee drink, or they're buying a bulk coffee, but our prices are competitive. So I think the economy has affected us, but probably has slowed our growth rather than, really hurt us.
Right. Were you guys open during 9/11 or before that?
We've been open about a year, so that was really the first time that we felt how outside, economic situation can really affect a business.
As far as the current economy, how have you changed to adapt to the challenges? Have you made any changes significantly, or do you?
Yeah, over time we done things like add more food. We opened another seasonal location in Door County that we felt would build up our coffee roasting business in a time of year when it's slower for us in our main location. So we found ways to build the business within its, core location.
Okay. So then what kind of culture would you say your business has? And then could you just give us some advice if we have any people out there that wanted to start their own business?
Advice to people starting just any small business? Well, really know the basic core business that you're getting into. So if you're getting into the restaurant business, coffee business, I would highly recommend working for someone else if you can for a while, to really see how someone else does it, and maybe take some things that you want to do, or they do well, and things that you would do differently, but just to really have some experience at the job, where you can really see what you would do, what you wouldn't do, and get some basic experience, so that when you go into doing your own thing, you don't have to learn everything. You can concentrate on some of the things that you have to when you're running the place.
Yeah.
As far as the culture of our shop, when we started, we wanted to have a place that was really welcoming to all ages and basically everyone. I mean, we're close to a small college, and so that's where a lot of our employees come from. So the feel of our place is kind of a mom and pop family run place. Mostly college kids working there, but as far as the clientele, it runs the gamut of working class guys, welders going to work, and higher up corporate people, and it's kind of a welcoming atmosphere for everyone.
All right, well, thank you for your time today, and we hope you have further success with Luna in the future, and thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Good for Luna Cafe and Roastery to really search out a more solid target market to improve revenue. A couple ways to do this would be through surveys or a focus group, but what we really thought would work well, considering this is a small town, small location near college campus, is something called gumshoeing, which you get out, really just meet the people in the community, ask questions, maybe even go door to door, do whatever you have to do to really find out which type of people or which group kind of like to drink more coffee than others. But what we really thought would be good is if you went down to the college campus and got after these college kids, because most people coming to college are just now starting to drink coffee, and I think they would be very impressionable to figure out which way they would like to go. And when they drink coffee, there's the Folgers or something like that at home, or like a Starbucks. But if you get at them early, you'd be able to focus them more on like the better quality that you had explained, that you guys roast your own, and do an industry analysis to see where you stand on a competitive level with your company and your product. Now, what we are suggesting that you do is you go to these companies, say you should not buy these bulk coffee from Milwaukee or the other areas. You should keep it in-house in the community and buy from us, because this would not only be good for their cafe, but it'll also be good for you. It will help you generate revenue and really make sure that you are staying on a competitive level with your competitors.